For the next video, I want to build on what we've done. Just to review, I had a simple rectangle shape drawn on the CAD side of the software in Carve. I can manipulate it if I want by changing it to pink and grabbing the handles and moving it around. Remember, we're not drawing shapes, we're trying to draw vectors, always a vector, because we need a path for that cutter to run and follow around when we do our simulation. Um, when we do simulation, we're over on this side and we're using the toolpaths to create a sort of a machining simulation. CAM, computer aided machining over here. And in there, we can set parameters and then do a calculation so that we can run the simulation of what the cutter would do if we set the settings the way we did. To build on that, I want to pick a new kind of vector path. And this time, instead of simple shapes, we're going to just put some words in using the text tool. In this example, gets a little bit sort of iffy, but you have to sort of remember what you're trying to do. In this example, I'm going to just put in a simple font. I'm leaving it at Times Roman. I can do different features that I want. If I want to center it, bold, etc., and then I just hit apply. I'm sometimes not sure what the software is doing, so if it does the wrong sizes or something, you can go in and apply some of the tools that you've already used in the past. But once I have some kind of a font, again, if I highlight it with those little handles, I can go back and I can pick different types of fonts. There's a whole host of fonts in there. You can play around with what you want. The thing to remember is, again, a vector path. I need a path where the cutter that I'm going to run follows this line. So sometimes you get yourself in trouble depending on the font that you choose, just because of the way the cutter will cut. So I'm going to try to show a bad example in a second here. I'm going to have the cutter come along here, follow this line up and over. At the same time, it'll come over here and cut through this path. What's it going to end up looking like? Well, I've got a font, something really simple. Again, you can pick what you want, but I'll go over here when I'm ready and pick a profile toolpath. I'm going to purposely go deeper this time just to illustrate a bad example. I can check my cutter. Again, I have that V cutter. We'll worry about these settings another time, so I'll accept that. Be careful that you're on the line. And this time again, I need to pick a name for my toolpath that reflects what it's doing, and I'll say words, and I'll hit calculate. Then I can keep the speed down. I'm going to press play, and I can watch the cutter cut things out. And now you're going to see the problem. Because it's a V cutter and it's cutting so close to the lines, when it does the simulation here in the CAM software, you're going to get this problem where, well, it may be not a problem, but you get this overlap. This V and this V are too close together, so the V's overlap. See here, you don't really get the definition that you'd expect. So you might end up saying, oh, maybe I better change that depth. It's not what I wanted. I didn't want that, so I'm going to recalculate. And again, to get rid of that, you hit reset, and then you press. And now, because I didn't go as deep, you don't get that overlap, but you still get it a bit here, but not as much here. There's still that little island in between the letters. But you can see on the J down here, that V comes around to that V going this way. Well, that, like, so there's a conflict or an overlap. Maybe you don't care, maybe that's the design. It depends what you want it to do. But when you're using the font tool, be conscious of the fact that the vector path we'll have the cutter follow that line, and if the lines are close together, it may or may not come out like you expect it to. It may look better or worse. You may care, you may not care. But that's another tool in using the vCarve software to build your design. As always, when you're done or halfway through or along the way, make sure you save. A second little trick that might help sometimes, if you're trying an idea and you're not so sure, you can do a save as save, and then you say something like version 2. In case I want to go back to my first version, I have both files then. The save as trick is very handy if that's what you want to do. That's it.